think that you want to use my whole name against me. Mike, listen, man, if you can't say the name, it's Abdurrahman, keep the name out your damn mouth. I was supposed to be a cab driver in Egypt, like my cousins. I would spend a lot of my childhood summers in Egypt. I'd spend them there with a front row seat to what my life should have been. Except for I got to be born in America.
Okay, what's wrong with being a cab driver in Egypt, first of all? But that is Abdul El Said, the Muslim radical socialist who is anti-capitalist, meaning he's also, by definition, anti-America. If you are anti-capitalism, you are anti-America to the core. This, as the modern Democrat Party takes another step closer to communism after another radical Muslim who campaigned with a man who said America deserved 9/11, Hassan Piker, could become a United States senator in November. Minnesota Congressman and House Majority Whip Tom Emmer is back with us. Congressman, good to see you. How concerned are you by what is happening in this country right now?
Extremely concerned, Rob, and glad you're talking about this. It's going to be very important for all Americans of voting age to understand exactly what their choice is this fall. It is between freedom and communism. Quite literally, we like to talk about common sense versus crazy, but this communist streak is amazing. And by the way, Rob, I think it violates the very letter of our Constitution, which allows us to hold, possess, own private property in this country. It's one of the things that makes us unique. We get to chase our version of the American dream. These people want to end it. That is the issue. We got to start relating that to the American public because, unfortunately, we've got a generation that has not learned this firsthand, like we saw with the Cold War and the falling of the wall with Gorbachev and the falling of the Communist Party. We lived through it. This generation has not, and they're about to learn what it is firsthand.
Yeah, and the people of Michigan might learn that lesson the hard way. I want to ask you about this. J.D. Vance held a roundtable today to talk about fraud, and several Democrats did not attend. In fact, not a single Democrat on the committee was present. Take a look.
We don't want the next administration, whoever, God forbid, you're going to have President El Sayed in 3 years. We don't want him to undo all the incredible work that we've been doing. And we would love, I'm not necessarily holding my breath, but we would love to work with Democrats in Washington to codify some of the anti-fraud actions that we've taken.
So you have a Muslim in your state, and we've talked about this a lot, Ilhan Omar. She's running for re-election to Congress. Whatever happened to the investigation into Ilhan Omar allegedly marrying her brother, opening up this fake winery that never sold or produced wine, being tied to this Somali fraud scandal, Congressman, that you know well, that was largely happening out of her district in her home state? What happened with that?
When you talk about Ilhan Omar, she is one of the most hateful people I've come across, Rob. I mean, this is a racist. She is an anti-Semite, and you're right. She does not appreciate America. In fact, she likes to scold America, and yet she's taken full advantage of it. I think the investigation is ongoing. I hope they continue to dig into all the potential ethics and legal violations.
Yeah.
And if it turns out that Ilhan Omar was in any way complicit with defeating our future pandemic scandal, the $250 million largest pandemic fraud case in the country, if she is somehow complicit with any fraud that's going on in the state, and there's plenty, Somali daycare fraud, you name it, they've done it. She should be prosecuted, not just dealt with. She should be out of Congress. She should be prosecuted to the full extent. And I would also suggest, Rob, that her husband should be subpoenaed and brought in and asked, how did you go from being essentially bankrupt to now having a net worth of some $30 million?
Yeah.
Something doesn't smell right. Clearly, the investigation is not over, and it should not be over until we get full transparency.
Can I just clarify, Congressman, you're the House Majority Whip, one of the most powerful Republicans in Washington. You said, I think. Do you not know if this investigation is still happening?
No, it is still happening.
Okay.
And I apologize, but it's happening in different places.
Okay.
I want the ethics committee to pursue this to the fullest extent. I know that Jamie Comer and his committee, the oversight committee, have been heavily involved into Minnesota fraud, which includes, obviously, Ilhan Omar, who's right at the center of it. It includes our corrupt and I would suggest more than incompetent Governor Tim Walz, our Attorney General et al. They are ongoing.
I just think people want accountability, which is why I brought that up. I want to ask you a question. Something today, Congressman Pete Stauber indicated that something is going on with your health. I'm sure you've heard about this. The quote is, "You have no idea what's going on with Congressman Emmer and what he's dealing with right now. If you did, you would have never made that comment. He's fighting for his damn life today," end quote. Sir, is everything okay?
Yeah, no, it is. I had a surgery on my right foot, and I think Pete was trying to say that I'm fighting to get back in the fight every day, which I'm already in. But who knows? You know, Pete was trying to be helpful. As it turns out, apparently there are some people that wouldn't be disappointed by my demise. But I got news for him, Rob. I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, not us,
I'm
sir.
here to fight through the end.
Congressman, good to see you. Good luck with your recovery, sir. I'm glad to see that you're doing okay. Tom Emmer, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob.